Hey everybody. Some people know me as MistryMn from Blog TV, and I'm just going to talk about Operation Blackjack for a second. I made a list of things that are strange coincidences about that slideshow. To me, it doesn't seem like it's really like a psyops or anything like that. There's too many coincidences that you have to take into consideration to for it to just be something like that means nothing. It had to have been created by somebody who's got some sort of insider knowledge. Well, let me just start rattling off some of the things that are on the list. June 22nd is 9 months and 11 days after September 11th, just like September 11th is 9 months 11 days after the first of the year. Well, this is exactly that 9 months 11 days after September 11th. There's a slide in there called, it explains what's called the case of the missing nukes. It says we have now secured the supplies necessary for Blackjack for Operation Blackjack, and it says the events are fictitious, but it was a real event that took place on August 30th of 2007, where a military jet flew from North Dakota to Louisiana, and with live nuclear warheads that went missing for 36 hours before they got to Louisiana. So I'll leave the link in the sidebar and you can check it out for yourself. To me, the events that are on, it says June 22nd at 8:03 a.m. in London was when the first bomb goes off. Well, then it goes 8:03 a.m. to New York, 8:03 a.m. Washington, D.C., Mexico City, L.A. It goes from London to the west coast of America. So it's almost symbolizing, if it's at 8:03 a.m., it would have to be in different time zones for all those things. So it's telling you that the bombs won't be going off at the exact same time. It won't be coordinated. They'll be separate from one another. So it'll be a day-long event. And it almost symbolizes to me that it's going to be what's called the dawn of a new day, like Obama's pin and his signature that or his campaign slogan. And like here's the newspaper from right after he got elected today. It's going to be like the event starts in the east and ends in the west, kind of like the sun rises in the east, sets in the west. Well, it's kind of going to be like that, as far as I can tell what this is translating into. It's also going to be on the summer solstice, which starts on June 21st at 11:28 a.m. This is going to be while the summer solstice is actually still taking place, so it will be the longest day of the year with the most bright sunlit hours. Now there's a slide in there that has the NAU, the North American Union, which we all know is something that they're actually trying to establish. They're actually trying to create the North American Union, and this would be a great way for them to bring that into being, especially with them destroying the economy and everything like that. If an attack like this occurred, it would almost force us into merging with some others economic, like the IMF or anything like that. It also, in the slideshow, it has Novus Ordo Seclorum included in there, and within the U.S. and Britain, so it almost seems like it's part of the New World Order, combining both entities, the European Union and the North American Union, in one. Let's see, Operation Golden Phoenix, like you were talking about earlier, Macca. If you look at the definition of a phoenix, it means a new beginning, a new dawning. Let's see. For the last 3 years, North America, the Canadian, American, and Mexican governments have been merging their training ops to deal with a nuclear incident in a metropolitan area. Until June 22nd last year, there was another code that instead of the one that says this is simply for entertainment, there was another one that translated into watch out for vans with the sun icon on the side of them. And it also said for any more warnings go to jackblack12.info, and when you went to that site before it was deleted last year, it led you to just a black page with 2 countdown timers on it, one for June 22nd, 2010, one for 9/11/2011. So it wasn't even talking about 2009, it was talking about this June 22nd in this year. What else do I have here? Oh yeah, if you remember that premiered last October, it's called Day After Disaster on the History Channel. It was talking about how a nuclear incident is the most likely #1 threat facing the nation. And it was like an hour-long series on History Channel that re-premiered, I think, this year, or I think it came out like last October or so. And I'll leave the link in the sidebar, but it's when one of the interviewees is talking about what their effects would be of a nuclear bomb. It talks about how it's going to be like an exploding sun, just like how on all of the bombs in that slideshow have the picture of the sun icon and the sun on the side of the van saying New Dawn Presentations is what it says. Let's see, what else do I have here? There's a lot of coincidences that you have to consider, because this is it seems like it could be a psyops, but there's so many coincidences that are involved that it seems like it could be legitimate. It would be a great way for them to attack Iran. It would give them an excuse to start World War III, basically. I'm just going to check out how much time I have left here. As far as Jericho goes, if you go on the first episode of Jericho, you have right before they show the picture of the school bus, which I don't know if you guys already know, the one they say there's a picture where there's a segment where the young kid says, do we have to listen to this? And then everybody in that room signals to the left-hand side, and then immediately after that, a minute before the bombs go off, you have a bus that goes by, and the numbers on it are 0226. So if you read them in this direction, it would mean 6/22, which is June 22. And another thing about Jericho is in the episode AKA, also known as, you have an incident where one conspirator is trying to find out who the mastermind behind the attacks was, and his name ends up being Thomas Valente. Well, in the Blackjack slideshow, the name on one of the identification cards is Thomas Valente, and there's 3 years separate from one another. The Jericho show and the Blackjack slideshow were made 3 years separate, so how can the names correlate with one another? This is my first video. You guys might know me as MistryMn on Blog TV, so hopefully this turned out good, and I'm going to cut it off because I don't know exactly how much time I have left, so hopefully this helps out. I'll leave all the links in the sidebar for you guys.